Hi everyone, welcome to Mugello Finale Mondiale Coppa Shell. All the cars lined up on the grid for the final race of our 2023 season. All the championships are won and done. It's now who will take the honors of being the Finale Mondiale, the Gold Roof champion. Yes, the world champion from all of our regions. Well, that's the man that's on pole position, Ernst Kirchmayr. We're following him into his grid box. Welcome once again to Mugello. As you can see, the weather conditions leading up to the conclusion of the event have not always been as nice as they are right now. We've had quite a lot of rainfall, but right now it's dry. Follow us on @Ferrari Races. We are at this 5.2-kilometer circuit of Mugello for this Finale Mondiale event, where the air temperature is 18 degrees, the track temperature is 17 degrees, and we have some 21 cars that will be contesting this Gold Roof race for Finale Mondiale. And very much looking forward to it because Ernst Kirchmayr will be going from pole position. Alongside him on the front row of the grid will be Thomas Gostner. Down there somewhere on the grid is Ludovica.
Good morning, guys, and welcome on the grid of Mugello circuit. Everything is ready for Finale Mondiale of Coppa Shell. Here we are with Daniele D'Amato, the coach of Axel Sartiken, for Discover More, the expectation for you and then for Axel for this race.
Yeah, expectations are very high. Yesterday we had pole position, but unfortunately it took get a track limit, very small, and he had no time, and we start P6, the last of Super Pole, and in the first qualifying he had pole position. So everything is good. We have the performance to be on top, and we have to do a really good start. To gain immediately some position. Cross fingers, we will see.
Thank you. But now I want to ask one more question to Axel, because Axel, I want to discover with you what represent for you Finale Mondiale.
Yeah, it's the last race of the season. It's a big race. Everybody wants to win. Unfortunately, I had a track limit yesterday. I was the quickest, but 1 centimeter off. So I try my best today. This race is always something special, because it ends the season, and this time is even more special because it ends the lifetime of the 488 Challenge Evo. We have a new car next year, a brilliant car, 296 Challenge. So yeah, let's finish the season, let's finish the 5 years or 6 years in this car, and in style, and hopefully a good result for me and try to reach the podium. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Have a good race. Back to you.
Axel Sartiken then, who, of course, has had a phenomenal year, and he would dearly love to add the Finale Mondiale title to his collection for 2023. It's going to be a tough order for him. He's going to have to do it from P5 on the grid, but don't discount. Please don't discount. There you can see the car of Yasutoka Shirasaki. Standing by, ready to go racing in this 30-minute final race of our 2023 season is the Finale Mondiale race. As I mentioned, Ernst Kirchmayr going from P1. It's Thomas Gostner alongside P2. Then it's Manuela Gostner and von Skelterma, who could be very much a danger man from P4 on the grid ahead of Axel Sartiken. And the best of the North American racers is Cameron Root. He goes from P6 on the grid, I beg your pardon. And Cameron, who has sealed the North American Coppa Shell Championship, he too could be a big threat from the third row of the grid. As I mentioned, it's Kirchmayr going from P1, Ludovica.
Yes, guys, we are here on the top of the grid with Ernst Kirchmayr for Discover More. What are your expectations for today and your feeling to start on the top of the grid?
It's great to stay at the pole position in Mugello, and this for the world final. But there's a big competition. Everybody would like to win the race, of course. And I need a good start and hopefully no crash. And everything is possible. Can change the weather, can be an accident, whatever. Nobody knows, but I will give my best.
Thank you so much. Back to you guys and enjoy the race.
Always gives 100%, does Ernst Kirchmeier from the Goen Barron Motorsport team. And there is the team principal, Philip Barron, with his final words of advice to our pole sitter, Ernst Kirchmeier, then, who will be going from that coveted P1 position. Thomas Gostner alongside, Manuel Gostner right behind, and then von Skeltema occupying the P4 position, with the shark's teeth, of course, that adorn his 4A Challenge Evo car. And as we take a look right now at the undulating 5.2 kilometer circuit, which is Mugello. The first sector, you climb uphill, start going downhill through the second sector, which can turn contain turns 6 through to 11. It's going from turn 9 where you start to climb uphill again and then go back downhill. And getting the final corner absolutely nailed perfectly gives you the ideal line to go onto the start-finish straight, where it is quite possible that you can make an overtake going into turn number 1, or even before you get to turn number 1. Hello, nice to see you here, and lots of people are here to enjoy this event. That is the car. For 2024, the 296, what a machine. It was revealed last night at the gala dinner, which I had the privilege to co-present, and yes, it is an awesome looking car. It becomes the challenge car from next season, 2024. The Richard Mills safety car ready to lead the cars away then for our start of the Coppa Shell Finale Mondiale race. There's Cameron Root to the right-hand side of your picture. To the left-hand side, we can see Axel Sardigan. That is David Veronin. This is Thomas Gostner. So Thomas Gostner then standing by, and you can see him smiling even though you can't see his mouth. And a big thumbs up from Thomas Gostner. He did a great job in qualifying, goes for P2. Christian Herdwipper to the left-hand side of the picture, David Veronin to the right, and there from our drone you can see what it looks like with an overhead shot before we go back to reversing our way down the grid right now. Left-hand side von Skeltema, right-hand side is Manuel Gostner. And that the rim of the Christian Herdwipper car. So a 30-minute race then, and we're about a minute or so away from the formation lap starting. There is von Skeltema with the shark's teeth, which adorn not only the front of the car, but also the crash helmet as well in his final stages of preparation for this Ferrari Challenge Finale Mondiale race for our Coppa Shell drivers. Mentioned that there would be quite a number of people here. In fact, it's been a very busy weekend in terms of people enjoying the festivities of Finale Mondiale. It is such an awesome event. A minute away then as final checks are done, and Cyril Choksi's door is closed, the Ferrari of Denver driver. This is the 325 car, or that was the 325 car of Thor Haugen. And there you can see on the left-hand side of the picture how the paddock becomes a Ferrari town when Finale Mondiale comes in. And there you can see more of our spectators enjoying. Hello, yes, you're on the telly. Ernst Kirchmeier going from pole position just 30 seconds away. We'll bring you the grid in full, and the race is about to get underway. 30 minutes of racing for the final time for our Coppa Shell drivers in 2023. Hold on to your hats. We are about to go racing. Richard Mills, safety car, right on cue. Leads the cars away. Then going from pole position, Ernst Kirchmeier. Thomas Gostner is alongside. They complete the first row of our world final grid. It's Manuel Gostner P3, von Skeltema is P4. And then to the third row of the grid where we find Axel Sardigan and Cameron Root. They are P5 and P6 respectively. To the fourth row of our grid where we find Christian Herdvieper and David Veronin, P7 and P8. Next, it is to the fifth row of the grid, and we will find there Alexander Nussbaumer and Thomas Loflad. They're going from P9 and P10 for Gomes Scuderia GT. Both drivers, Christian Kinch and Cyril Joxy, P11 and P12. They are on the sixth row. To the seventh row of our 21-car strong grid, it's John Dillon and Tor Haugen. They go from P13 and P14. And then we find Jan Bernier and Yasutaka Shirasaki. They are P15 and P16. Yanbin Singh and Kanja Yagura. They are P17 and P18. The ninth row of our world final grid with Frank Szczesniak and Matt Dalton going from P19 and P20, and John Viskup going from P21. So 21 strong grid of cars then for Ferrari Challenge. Coppa Shell Finale Mondiale, the world final race. The sense of anticipation and excitement is growing all the way around the Mugello circuit then. The cars are following the Richard Mills safety car. Then they will be invited to form up in side-by-side formation. The safety car will peel off into the pit lane, and it will be the responsibility of Ernst Kirchmeier and Thomas Gosner to control the pace of the rolling start. There's Manuela's driver coach, Giorgio Sonagiotto, and they will get this race underway. David Veronin weaving from side to side then to try and generate some temperature into the tyres. To keep you across the regions, our European drivers will be color-coded red, our North American drivers will be color-coded blue. In the graphics that you will see, the graphic stack on the left-hand side of your screen when the race gets underway. So through the chicane they go then, and there we can see weaving from side to side just a few of the drivers. Massimo Pepe from the MP Racing Organization to the right-hand side of the picture as the data was being looked at on the laptop there. Hello, morning to you. We have, what have we got? 12 minutes past 10, a local time here in Tuscany. And the cars are on the final stages, and there you could just see the marshal telling the drivers to line up in grid formation. David Veronin we ride on board with here. They have one turn to do, and then it will be heading towards the lighting gantry for the start of this final race for our 2023 Coppa Shell Stars. It is the world final race, the Finale Mondiale. Once again, to help build the atmosphere and the anticipation, let's throw a music bed into the mix, and let's let the cars roll towards the lighting gantry. Stand by! Lights go out, let's go racing. What a great move from Von Skelderman, putting himself to the outside of Thomas Gosner. He now dives to the inside. Cameron Root trying to make a move as well, as he's following Manuela Gosner into turn number one. They come then, and let's keep an eye on this. Axel Sardigan with a blistering start as well, has put himself through into P2. So Axel Sardigan, who would love to close the season not only as champion but also as world champion. Christian Herdvieper receiving just a little bit of a tap there as Thomas Gosner is falling back down the order. All cars through turns 1 and 2, all okay, which is great to see as Von Skelderman tries to get to the outside of David Veronin. It is Ernst Kirchmeier leading, but Axel Sardigan is right with him, and he knows he needs to do that. Then it's the two Gosners, Manuela and Thomas, ahead of Christian Herdvieper and Cameron Root then as they start to run downhill. Christian Kinch, also another driver trying to make his moves fairly early on in the white and green car. So Cameron Root all over the back of Christian Herdvieper at the moment. They are contesting that P5 and P6 position, and then Cameron Root's adversary in the Coppa Shell Championship in North America, David Veronin, is right behind him as well. So it's a yellow flag at turn number 7. So someone has run off at turn number 7. And into the gravel goes the 116 car of Kanja Yagura. And the safety car is called for. So safety car out as Kanja Yagura has found the gravel trap. And that means that all the work that Ernst Kirchmayr done and building a 9/10 margin between himself and Axel Sardigan. Counts for nothing now because Kanjai Yagura is beached, and that car is going to have to be recovered before we can continue racing. So a safety car very early on in this race. So how did Kanjai Yagura? Well, that's the 332 car of Jan Bernier. Just a touch between Jan Bernier and Kanjai Yagura. And that sent Kanjai into the gravel. Following close behind, but avoiding, was Frank Szczesniak. And there you can see that being discussed on the pit wall. So cars under the control of the safety car then. Absolutely not even a full lap completed before the safety car was called for. So the tyres really haven't got up to temperature. Ernst Kirchmayr, Axel Sardigan, Manuela Gosner. Let's take a look at a replay of the start then, and here it comes. Initially, von Skeltermar getting a very good getaway, but then in the second phase, Thomas Gosner had got the car going very, very well, and Von's moved from outside to inside. We can see it from a different camera angle here, and Axel Sardigan with an enormous start as he puts himself right to the inside of Manuela Gosner. And that meant that Axel Sardigan was able to go through and pick up that P1 position. The two Gosners of Manuela and Thomas there. And Cameron Root trying to thread through the two cars right ahead of him. And he was ultimately denied that opportunity. And you could see that's where Christian Herdvipper just got a little tap, and he controlled it nicely. Let's go on board with David Veronin here. And he has von Skeltermar right ahead of him. He chooses to go to the outside of von Skeltermar, does David Veronin. He's been such a star in the Ferrari Challenge Coppa Shell in North America this season. The battle between himself and Cameron Root all the way to the championship has been really, really exciting and enticing. Safety car is going to come in at the conclusion of this lap, we're being told by race control, and you can see there that was how both Cameron Root and Christian Herdvipper were on the receiving end of a little nerf there, and I think that might have been from Thomas Gosner, but it's only conjecture on my part, having looked at the back end of the car. So safety car coming in at the conclusion of this lap. As I mentioned, still quite a bit of the lap to do before the Richard Mills safety car will be out, and Ernst Kirchmayr will have to control the restart from his position in P1, of course. So to give you the top 10, it's Kirchmayr from Sardigan, from Gosner, Christian Herdvipper, then it's Root, Veronin, then it is Skeltermar P8, Nussbaumer P9, and Christian Kinch running in P10. The incident involving cars 116 and 332 in turn 7 is under investigation. That was the situation there with Jan Bernier, and also the Kanjai Yagura car, which was the car that ended up beached, and therefore the safety car having to be deployed as a consequence of that. That's under investigation from race control. That's Axel Jeffries then, driver coach on the pit wall, and always lots of anticipation ahead of the start and the restart. That's Ines Rule, team manager of Baron Motorsport, and when we go back to racing, we're going to have about 23.5 minutes of the race remaining. So it becomes quite a sprint, doesn't it? Well, Ernst Kirchmayr has already gone and done it, so we may well have more than 23.5. It might be 24 minutes of racing remaining. Axel Sardigan then Manuela Gosner, but Ernst Kirchmayr doing a very good job at the restart. He accelerated fairly early on, ahead of the start really of the final turn, but as he crosses the timing line now, let's go back to racing. We get the green flag conditions, and every driver is back out again, and we go racing. They're going to have to try and generate some temperature into the tyres. Here comes Christian Herdvipper down the inside of Thomas Gosner. He manages to scrub off the speed, and Cameron Root gets so sideways, loses the back end of the car. Now, thankfully, no other car collecting it. Now, that just proves that during the safety car phase, the tyres cooled down, and I rather feel that probably the grip afforded to Cameron Root on the back end of the car wasn't quite there for him, and that's where we saw the car go sideways. And Cameron Root managing to hold on to that, and he's got it pointing back in the right direction again, but has lost a number of places. And in fact, Cameron Root has fallen down, I think, to P14. So He's going to have some real work to do now. It's Ernst Kirchmayr from Axel Sardigan and Manuela Gostner. They are the top three in this Finale Mondiale race. There is Thomas Gostner in the 161 car. Now, of course, he started in a very, very good position, but now finds himself in P5. We've had a safety car very early on, and a drive-through penalty is being awarded to Jan Bernier, the Ferrari of Seattle driver, for the contact with Kanjai Yagura, which sent Kanjai Yagura into the gravel trap, which meant we had to have a safety car before even one lap was completed. Von Skeltmar being pressured now by Alexander Nussbaumer. This is for P7 in the race, and Alexander Nussbaumer, the Austrian driver, really taking it to Von Skeltmar now. Kirchmayr had done a good job in building up a margin of a second already ahead of Axel Sardigan. And they're running into the final turn now. And as you can see, Christian Kinch, he wants to buy into this battle for P7 as well. He's currently running P9. He's closer to Alexander Nussbaumer than Nussbaumer is to Skeltmar. So Alexander Nussbaumer in that middle position basically is having to try and attack and also defend at the same time. Christian Kinch gets a good run here. And also getting a good run just behind them was Cameron Root and John Dillon, as Cameron Root tries to make his way back up the order. Here comes Jan Bernier, then taking that drive-through penalty as soon as it has been notified to him. So Von Skeltmar sticking his elbows out here and defending from Alexander Nussbaumer and Christian Kinch. And joining me alongside on the air here, delighted to welcome Ferrari hypercar superstar, Le Mans winner, James Collado. James, safety car, as you saw in the early stages of this race before one lap is completed. As a racing driver, presumably you just have to go for a complete reset again, because it was like starting the race again.
Morning, everyone. Yeah, absolutely. I think a safety car gives you that little chance to take a breather, to make sure that you're all set. And yeah, obviously, it's a time where you can think about how you're going to gain positions, because normally in the first laps of safety car, it's the time when you need to attack. So it's just always a reset for me personally.
It was a great night last night that we had as we celebrated your success and, of course, all your teammates as well, and the launch of the Modificata 499 as well. I don't know whether you're of the same opinion as me, James. I always think Finale Mondiale just can't get any better than it does one year, and then you seem to manage to step up yet again.
Yeah, they keep beating it every year. I mean, this is such an amazing race. I mean, I've never seen so many fans at a finale. It's incredible, the passion here in Italy, and yeah, they've launched two new cars, the 296 Challenge, which they'll obviously be racing next year, and obviously the really fancy one, which is the Modificata of our race car in the World Endurance Championship, which is super quick. So two amazing cars, and yeah, a great night and great racing today.
Indeed. Thanks, James. We'll be hearing from James periodically during the course of this race with his insight into exactly what is going on out there on track, as Christian Herdvipper and Manuela Gostner are coming together through turn number one. Von Skeltmar trying to take advantage of that. So Manuela Gostner then with all sorts of strife now. The car, as you can see, that's got damage to the back end, and unfortunately that will be the end of Manuela Gostner's race. And it wasn't Von Skeltmar that was trying to take advantage. It was, of course, David Veronin. David Veronin has gone through, and here comes Alexander Nussbaumer and Von Skeltmar, as all of a sudden the order has changed, because Manuela Gostner is out. Therefore, Christian Herdvipper into P3. David Veronin is P4. Then it is Thomas Gostner. Before we get to this battle, which involves Alexander Nussbaumer, who is trying to find a way past Von Skeltmar, and he's been trying to do that for a number of laps. It's not so easy to overtake here at Mugello. You've got to really try and pick your spot and almost try and encourage the driver in front of you to make an error and maintain that pressure. And to be fair, Alexander Nussbaumer has got Christian Kinch and Cameron Root not far behind him, and I think Thomas Loflad is in there as well. Yes, Thomas Loflad right behind Cameron Root. So Skeltmar, Nussbaumer, Kinch then, and still he has been denied. Now, car 128, which is the Christian Kinch car, which is running in P8 at the moment, has had a track limits warning. So we'll just keep our eyes on that, because track limits, you get 3 warnings, and if you get warned again, you will get a time penalty. It's normally 5 seconds. Now, the incident involving Christian Herdvipper and Manuela Gostner is under investigation. I regret to say it's going to be a retirement for Manuela Gostner, as now Cameron Root is trying to buy into this as well. I mean, That's big, bold and brave to go all the way around the outside here. And here comes Alexander Nussbaumer on the outside of von Skeltermaar. I mean, Cameron Root just drove around the outside as they head towards turn number 1. 3 abreast potentially onto the grass. Alexander Nussbaumer gets a nerf.
Oh my word.
Brilliant control, James, from Alexander Nussbaumer.
I've never seen that before. What? Oh wow. Oh no.
Oh, Cameron Root gets turned around, but remarkably gets it going again in the right direction. Christian Kinch, he takes advantage and just comes through. John Dillon gets a time penalty for track limits. I have to say that was the save of the day from Alexander Nussbaumer going into turn number 1. I so hope we get a replay of that going into turn number 1. It was remarkable stuff. And Alexander Nussbaumer, how he held on to that car. The order is Kirkmeyer, Sartigan and Christian Herdvipper. I mean, James, that was a real heart-in-the-mouth moment.
I'm in shock. I don't know how he caught it. I mean, that's the end of the straight. I mean, you are high speed, and he caught that. That was unbelievable. You know, there was no big accident, luckily, but I've never seen anything like that, Dave. That was save of the day.
Thanks, guys. Here it comes. So, there's Christian Herdvipper and Manuel Agosner. That's not the incident we're talking about, but that was bad enough because, of course, that caused damage to Manuel Agosner's car, and she's out. It was this. 3 abreast. Cameron is on the grass. It was an innocuous touch to Alexander, but when you are at that speed, James, he dialed it in and just kept it straight.
That was a brown moment for it there. I mean, that was unreal.
We're fired, both of us. Well done, Alexander Nussbaumer. My goodness me, and he's still in P6. Right, all of a sudden, Axel Sartingen has got on terms here with Ernst Kirchmayr. Now, bear in mind that Axel Sartingen is the Coppa Shell champion. He wants to end the weekend on the ultimate high. And the ultimate high for him will be to take the world final race. He's been quietly reeling in Ernst Kirchmayr. The gap between them is about 4 tenths. Ernst Kirchmayr, though, is a wily driver, that's for sure. And he is going to be very, very hard to get by. But you can see how these two have broken away from Christian Herdvipper. And still coming back for more is Cameron Root. I mean, I was also, when you saw Cameron Root, he was on the grass going into turn number 1. Now, Christian Herdvipper has received a drive-through penalty, is receiving a drive-through penalty for the contact on Manuel Agosner that we saw in replay a few moments ago. So that will take Christian Herdvipper out of the provisional podium places, and it will put David Veronin back in. He will be up to P3. Meantime, various bits of debris coming off, and you can see Manuel Agosner is bitterly disappointed. Giorgio Sonagiotto, driver coach there, they were discussing that probably quite loudly, I would suggest. Here comes Cameron Root, who's just been extraordinary in this race, and von Skeltermaar running in P8 at the moment. Cameron Root having got past von Skeltermaar to run in that P8 position. Christian Kinch in P7. So there you can see just behind von Skeltermaar, was just checking it, is the Thomas Low flat car. So the gap between Ernst Kirchmayr and Axel Sartingen, let's get a live one for you. 3 tenths, or just under 4 tenths, as Axel Sartingen reels him in now. Is he going to take a look at the inside line here? Gets a bit of a draft off the back of the Ernst Kirchmayr car as they head up towards turn 2, and Cameron Root is going to get a time penalty for track limits. Oh, that's tough, but he gets a 5-second time penalty for track limits issues. Meantime, Ernst Kirchmayr still having to stick his elbows out from Axel Sartingen. It's the very, very successful Ernst Kirchmayr from Goem Baron Motorsport, defending from the 2023 Coppa Shell champion Axel Sartingen. We've got just under 13 minutes. Just under 14 minutes, sorry, I was wrong. Just under 14 minutes of the race remaining. The incident involving cars 177 and 399 in turn number 1 is under investigation. That was Cameron Root and von Skeltermaar. So the race control team are looking at that. Now, James Collado, as a racing driver, I know sometimes you are invited into race control as like a driver advisor. You see it from a driver's eye perspective, and of course, you don't always necessarily agree with everything that race control do, but they have access to so much data, so many cameras. I mean, they see things that we don't see.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got onboards, they've got cameras at every corner, they can see every track limit. They can. You can't really win an argument as a driver against race control if you've done something wrong.
I bet you've tried.
I've tried many times, but it's never worked. But no, I mean the decisions they make are normally 99% always correct. I mean, you can't really fight them.
Here comes Axel Sardigan. He's got a brilliant exit out of turn number 14, as now Ernst Kirchmayr is really under pressure here. Going into turn number 1, is Axel Sardigan going to be able to find his way past Ernst Kirchmayr? Axel Sardigan to the outside. Now he dives to the inside of Ernst Kirchmayr, and Ernst Kirchmayr closes the door. Well, it was respectful racing from both of them. And my goodness me, they are close together. So, can Axel Sardigan build it to do it again? That is the question. So, Kirchmayr is under real threat here. Axel Sardigan just dials out of it for a moment, but he is going to have another go. Very quickly, let's hear from Ernst Kirchmayr's team boss, Philipp Baron.
Thank you, guys. Here we are with Philip for discover more about the race of Ernst. And in this moment, there is a very battle between Ernst and Axel.
Yes, the battle is going intense. Ernst had almost a perfect weekend so far. We were starting from the pole. He defended his first position, and at the moment, they are battling for the World Championship title.
Thank you.
Bye.
Indeed, they are battling for the World Championship title. I just feel that Axel, who is very clever, he'll start. He'll perhaps rest for a lap and then have another go. But Ernst Kirchmayr really having to defend on that last lap. And actually, Axel, perhaps he's not going to wait for another lap. He's going to go for it now because he's just got reeled in Ernst Kirchmayr once again. So Axel will be thinking about where is Ernst vulnerable? Where can I try and do it here through the final chicane? Let's see if Axel Sardigan gets as close to Ernst through the final turn as he did last time around. It's not far away, that's for sure. Into the final turn they go, as Christian Herdvipper and David Veronin, and Axel Sardigan was taking a look at the inside. And let's see again as Axel Sardigan tries to get a draft out of the final turn, and off the back of the Ernst Kirchmayr car. Is Axel going to be successful this time? I don't think he's as close as he was last time around. Again, king of the late breakers here. No, he's not as close this time around. Oh, this is going to be intense over the final 10.5 minutes here, as Ernst Kirchmayr is able to defend that position into turn 2 and turn 3, into the chicane. They go, and Axel Sardigan is certainly filling the rear-view mirror of Ernst Kirchmayr here. Two awesome drivers together here, James Collado, and it's a fraught fight, but thus far appears to be a very fair fight.
Yeah, superb. Axel, he didn't even do one of the races, trying to save the car for this race. You remember he had the traction control issue, so he's going to want this so much. So I guess, he's going to push as hard as he can. You don't want to take too much out of the tyres, of course, but he's obviously there, and these drivers are giving it everything.
They are, and it's really enjoyable for us to watch and talk about. So just under 10 minutes remaining, of course. Ernst Kirchmayr, engineered by Philipp Baron's team, and Axel Jeffries, of course, who's no stranger to racing success, who's coaching as well, and Axel Sardigan there being coached by Daniele Diamato, former Ferrari Challenge champion himself, and of course talking about as a round has gone, and returning onto the track. Good avoidance by everyone else. That was another very scary moment there, as the car went out onto the grass of Yasutuka Shirasaki, but back onto the track. So here's David Veronin that we're on board with right now, with just under 10 minutes remaining of this Ferrari Challenge World final race for our Coppa Shell drivers. So the track limits, I told you, mentioned to you, I should say, sounded a bit like a headmaster then, didn't I? You get 3 track limits warnings, and once you've been warned 3 times, when it comes to the 4th time, you get a drive-through penalty, and that is what has happened to Cameron Root. So Cameron Root, who's currently running in P6, I am being told, is going to get a drive-through penalty for repeated track limits issues, as Alexander Nussbaumer now tries to put his car to the inside of Thomas Gostner. He's denied. It's the fight that's going on for P4. Running in P3 is David Veronin. And there is David Veronin having a very, very good race for Foreign Cars Italia. The North American racer, David Veronin. Kirkmeyer and Sartigan, they still remain only 4/10 between P1 and P2. So Kirkmeyer from Sartigan, from David Veronin then, who's in a provisional podium place here. And we go back on board now, looking back at the Thomas Gostner car, and Alexander Nussbaumer behind Thomas Gostner. Keeping our eyes on the gap between P1 and P2, and it's just increased. Ernst Kirkmeyer has increased it to 1.1 seconds between himself and Axel Sartigan, but I bet this isn't done yet before the end of the race, as Axel Sartigan would dearly love to take this world final and add it to his Coppa Shell championship win. David Veronin now is under some pressure from Thomas Gostner. And Thomas Gostner with something of an unorthodox line, perhaps, through the chicane. Did it work? Not quite. Let's stay on board with David Veronin here, as Alexander Nussbaumer, of course, as Thomas Gostner is trying to attack, so too is David Veronin. So Gostner is in the position of trying to attack at the same time as having to defend from Alexander Nussbaumer. And there, Alexander Nussbaumer has the big chunks of the Pirelli rubber coming off the cars here. Of course, they've not had so much dry running in this Finale Mondiale event. Thankfully, most of yesterday was dry, and thus far the same for today. Here come our P1 and P2 drivers then, heading into turn number 1. And I don't know whether I've got this strategy correct, James, but it looks to me like Axel's just going to rest here for a lap or so and then have another go.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't work it out, to be honest. I mean, he's either going to, plan his attack towards the end of the race, the last couple of laps, but he could also be pushing. And yeah, it's difficult to know, but it's certainly a very, very close fight. It's just 7/10 between them at the moment.
So David Veronin continuing to hold on to that P3 place, and we saw the last 3-lap evolution. There is Alexander Nussbaumer, we can see from the onboard shot there, just on the inside of Thomas Gostner. Thomas Gostner was about to close the door. There was contact between them. It's the second time that Alexander Nussbaumer has had to hold on to the car when it could have been oh so different. And but he does manage to hold on to it. The Gostner team and family you can see in the split screen there, but well done to Alexander Nussbaumer, and you can see that he's clearly got a quicker car, and now he's got by Thomas Gostner. Alexander Nussbaumer is into P4. Giorgio and Manuel are taking a look at that incident, I am sure. Let's see it here again. So he dives to the inside. I mean, in fairness, Thomas was closing the door before Alexander had got there, James.
That's a racing incident for me.
Yeah.
They probably didn't see each other, and there's Matt there
Matt
complaining. Yeah, we're used to that with Matt. But
bit of grumpiness.
Yeah, I think that's just a racing incident.
Yeah, no, I think I would call that in exactly the same way. Okay, here comes Axel Sartigan. What is his plan here? Because the gap between P1 and P2 has increased to 1.2 seconds. It could be that he's taken everything out and that he's got no more left to give. We will see. So it is Ernst Kirchmeyer leading from Axel Sartigan. It's David Veronin in P3, but right now he's going to have Alexander Nussbaumer behind him. Alexander Nussbaumer's got some time to make up before he can get on terms with David Veronin, but I'm sure he will get to him as Axel Sartigan then, under braking, gets a bit closer to Ernst Kirchmeyer, but it's nothing like it was just a couple of laps or so ago. So Kirchmeyer, he's just focusing and concentrating on what he needs to do, and not considering the fact that right behind him is Axel Sartigan. Just focus on your race, and what will happen behind will happen behind. Axel is going to have to do all the hard work in trying to attack. And we will see if in the remaining 4¼ minutes of this race, whether Axel is able to find something, dig deep and find something from somewhere, as Thor Haugen goes into a battle here. So Thor Haugen going through on the inside of the car of John Visca. So two of our North American racers, Tor Haugen and John Viskup, and that's a change of place. So it's P13 for Tor Haugen. Tor has been a fantastic campaigner, as indeed has John in the Ferrari Challenge in North America this season, which I've had the privilege to talk about. It's a wonderful paddock in North America, as indeed it is here in Europe and also in the UK as well, and Japan. We have a wonderful, wonderful series in the Ferrari Challenge, which it reaches far and wide in terms of geography. Von Skeltermar, he goes through on Thomas Gosner. I would suggest that Thomas Gosner has an ailing car now following that contact with Alexander Nussbaumer. Well, here comes Sartingen again. And he is going to try. So he'll potentially get to be side by side with Ernst Kirchmayr, but of course Kirchmayr is able to carry a little bit more speed through the exit of the turn. And now let's see as they head into turn number 1. This is for the lead of the race between Ernst Kirchmayr and Axel Sartingen. Sartingen, is he going to try and go around the outside here, which would give him the inside for the next turn? Not quite close enough, as he really does pressure Ernst Kirchmayr, but Ernst just soaks it up like a sponge and holds on to that P1 position, which is perhaps a tad unfair to Ernst. He's not holding on to it. I mean, he's, despite the fact that Sartingen has been right there with him, he's never really looked vulnerable. In my opinion, there's problems for Christian Kinch, who has had a torrid weekend, and the weekend just goes from bad to worse for Christian Kinch. We can see damage on the car. Hope Christian is okay. That's going to bring out a safety car. I'm almost sure of that because of where that car is positioned. With only 2 minutes of the race remaining, that will mean that it's the end of any opportunity for Axel Sartingen to get by Ernst Kirchmayr. I'm pretty sure that was on the start-finish straight, James.
Yeah, just looking, it's a big one. The rear of the car is completely destroyed, which is so unfortunate. Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a safety car. There we go. It's just been announced. So, yeah, it will finish in these positions.
Yes, that's how it's going to be. So, Christian Kinch is inside the car there now. As I mentioned, and I said this to his entire family last night when we were having some discussions, you know, if he doesn't have bad luck, he has no luck. I mean, and it looks to me like Christian is okay, but, you know, our fingers are crossed and we are wishing well. So how did that happen? Oh, it's just a tyre let go, isn't it?
Oh, no. It wasn't even his fault. Oh, gutted. So it happens though, Dave. You know, sometimes it happens. You can touch curbs, you can get debris, you can get gravel, you can get, you know, all sorts of things can cause tyres to go. So it's just disappointing. But at least he's okay. You know, that would have been a big impact.
And I have to say, James, just sorry, but the integral safety of these 488 Challenge Evo cars is remarkable.
Oh, they're superb. Yeah, I trust these cars with everything. I've driven, you know, these GT cars for many years, yes. And you know, so far, you know, big no injuries. So these cars are super safe, full roll cages, you know, full protection. They go through numerous crash tests and things like that. So you can always trust a Ferrari.
Yeah. Thank you, James. Well, this is how the race is going to finish then. It's going to be Ernst Kirchmayr, Axel Sartingen and David Veronin, ahead of Alexander Nussbaumer and Von Skeltermar, Thomas Loflad, Cyril Choksi, Thomas Gersner, Cameron Root, and then it's going to be Shirosaki P10. Great news is Christian Kinch is out of the car and he's perfectly okay. Very unfortunate incident, just rounding out what has been a difficult weekend for him. But Ernst Kirchmayr will become the world final winner. Axel Sartingen, I think he would have certainly had another go, but his another go has been denied by dint of the fact we are now behind the safety car. There is Christian, thankfully. All okay, so to all his family who I know are here this weekend, he's all right, and yeah, just very unfortunate. So final lap we are on behind the safety car, and that will be it for our Coppa Shell Finale Mondiale. Cars all lined up behind the safety car, so the order in which they're running is the order in which they will finish, which will mean that Ernst Kirchmayr, well, he's had a, you know, conversely to Christian Kinch, he's had the perfect weekend because Kirchmayr has won every race that he's started in this Finale Mondiale event. So well done to Ernst Kirchmayr. Well done to Axel Sartingen, who the Luix Sportivo Herta Racing driver, who there he is, center camera, if you will. He was, I'm feel sure he would have had another go before the end of the race. Whether it had been successful or not is quite completely another matter. But he certainly tried to take it to Ernst Kirchmayr. And well done to David Veronin, North American driver, P2 in the championship this year, and it's P3 in the world final race. That ain't a bad score, David Veronin. Well done. He's here with all the family as well, I know, this weekend. I've spoken to them. And Alexander Nussbaumer, who's had 2 huge saves, takes a P4. He almost deserves a trophy for what he has to do.
I still can't believe he saved it. Unreal.
There we have it. Big thanks to James Collado because he's been with us, and you're always very generous with your time, James, and we appreciate that. I know you're under tremendous pressure in terms of the duties. You're pushed and pulled in so many different directions.
No problem, Dave.
It's because you're a superstar, friend.
No, not yet. No, I always like commentating with you.
Oh, that's kind. Thank you so much
Cheers,
to James Collado. We'll be seeing him on the podium and in various other... Of course, he'll be one of the stars in the Ferrari show to come this afternoon as well. So big thanks to James Collado for being here with us on the air. So the safety car has peeled off into the pit lane, and therefore Ernst Kirchmayr will be able to at least take the checkered flag to win the world final race. The Baron Motorsport Gome team will be very, very happy indeed as Ernst Kirchmayr does accelerate now and heads towards the checkered flag, which is unfurled as Ernst Kirchmayr becomes Finale Mondiale champion for 2023. Well, I'm saying ignore the graphics because that says Axel Sardinger. So, unless something has happened here that I'm not aware of, it would appear that Axel Sardinger has taken it from Ernst Kirchmayr, who was first across the line, wasn't he? So the timing screen has changed. And sure enough, it says Axel Sardinger has won the Finale Mondiale race. Now, was there a penalty that I wasn't aware of? Because if there was, I apologize to you for not bringing that information, but I promise you I'm not aware of it. So this says that Axel Sardinger, and everything that we are seeing is indicating that Axel Sardinger is Finale Mondiale winner. And I can see a time penalty being awarded to car number 136. Now, that is Alexander Nussbaumer. And there you can see it. So there's got to be a penalty that's been awarded to Ernst Kirchmayr for some reason. Axel Sardinger then is world champion. Well, forgive me, Axel, my dear friend, for not bigging you up in the way that I should, but I think I'm as confused as everybody else here because Axel Sardinger becomes a world champion. David Veronin is P2, and Alexander Nussbaumer, even though he's got another penalty, this says he's P3. Well, the plot thickens. Stand by. Information coming through to me as soon as is possible. It would appear that car number 109 has been awarded a time penalty for track limits. So that drops Ernst Kirchmayr down the order, and that is why Axel Sardinger has become the world champion. Now, I'm sorry, I don't think I saw that penalty come up. So Daniele Diamato is there to congratulate Axel Sardinger and welt him across the crash helmet there because he's world champion. Finale Mondiale champion, Coppa Shell 2023 champion as well. No, steady on, Axel. Don't get on top of the car, friend. And there's David Veronin, who now becomes P2. And there is Axel Sardinger, who could not have maxed out any more this season than he has done because he's world champion and he is the championship winner as well. Von Skeltermark gets a podium, P3, and that's all because of penalties that have been awarded. And well, my apologies, I certainly wasn't aware of the penalty being awarded to Ernst Kirchmayr. And it has given Axel Sardinger the Finale Mondiale title. Now, I'm convinced that Axel would have had a go going into the final final turns in any event. And there he's being congratulated by Manu Gostner. And Axel Sardigan removes the crash helmet, the hands device. Werner Genter goes over to congratulate him. And right, let's enjoy the pit show right now.
Axel, congratulations, what a season for you, champion in Ferrari Challenge Europe, and you won the Finale Mondiali. What do you feel?
Yeah, world champion doesn't sound that bad, so thank you to Ferrari. Hertha Racing did a perfect car for me. The car was stable till the end. I could go the speed of Ernst, then they deployed me. They got a 5-second penalty, so I didn't have to overtake him. And from there on, my start was brilliant and kept away from everybody. So safe win, I would say. Yeah? So I could overtake him, but at the end, I said, that one is a risk. I don't want to risk it. So, yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ferrari. See you next season in the new car. Now it's history for 88 Challenge Evo. Great car, 5 great years. Now comes the future, 296.
Thank you.
Well done, Axel Sardigan. He is world champion. Right, let's take a look at the highlights of that Ferrari Challenge Coppa Shell Finale Mondiale race. Here then, confirmation of the result. Axel Sardigan is the Coppa Shell Finale Mondiale winner ahead of David Veronin and von Skeltermar, the 1, 2, and 3. The rest of the order that you can see on there. Wow, what a dramatic Coppa Shell Finale Mondiale race that was. The world final race. We'll be heading up to the podium shortly and we'll be seeing the top 3 drivers. Now, in terms of race statistics, there they are. 87 overtakes. The race statistics powered by AWS. Stand by. Podium is next. Michele Mambelli will be bringing the drivers out onto the podium. The drivers we'll be seeing will be von Skeltermar, who takes P3 in the world final race. Taking P2 for North America, here comes David Veronin. And then on the top step of the podium, He is the world champion. Here comes Axel Sartingen. And Herta Racing and Frank Herta is there to represent the team. His driver, Axel Sartingen, has had a pinpoint perfect year. Okay, here comes the trophy presentations then. And Miguel Molina is there, the Ferrari Competizione GT driver, making the third place trophy presentation to von Skelterma. Making the P2 trophy presentation to David Veronin is Niklas Nielsen, Ferrari Competizione GT official driver. And then the big one, going to Axel Sartingen. Antonio Fuoco, official Ferrari Competizione GT driver, makes the trophy presentation to Axel Sartingen. All our trophy presenters will get together, and the photographs will be taken. Von Skelterma, Axel Sartingen, David Veronin, from right to left there, as you can see.
Rise your trophy for photo number 2.
And well done to all the drivers.
And now the driver.
Niklas Nielsen has to take evasive action to avoid the champagne that was going to come. Taking P3 then, it is von Skelterma for Kessel Racing. Taking P2, it's David Veronin for Foreign Cars Italia. And the Lueg Sportivo Herta Racing, Axel Sartingen, who is the Finale Mondiale winner. There we have it then, the Coppa Shell Finale Mondiale race done and dusted. We still have a Trofeo Pirelli Finale Mondiale World Final race to come. Please make sure you join us for that. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye for now.